Boston with you after our OMA meeting.
It's great for you to be here. I'm so excited for you to see us at Known Well.
Yes, so I think I'm probably going to be one of the first people in the new office.
You are. Here it is, the new office.
And one of my favorite things about the office and about the OMA meeting was actually that there was such a focus on patient-centered care and appropriate furniture and surroundings, and I know that's a big part of your practice, and I think that's going to be really exciting for your patients.
Yeah, I do think this is probably the best looking
it is.
officially bariatric furniture from a supplier that does that, right?
Absolutely.
So, but looks, very lovely,
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, I love it.
So we were talking about what our sort of take homes from the OMA meeting were, and I know for me, seeing Liz Paul, one of our OAC colleagues that we've worked with, be the keynote speaker, really putting patients first at the meeting. I thought that was really symbolic, and I think her talk about her own struggle with weight, internalized weight bias, really set the stage for the meeting.
And all the stigma she'd experienced, right, from healthcare providers over the course of her lifetime.
Yeah.
And I think it really, that's what we're trying to do here at Known Well, is to break down that stigma for everybody, because it keeps people from going to the doctor.
Yeah.
And then people shop around for doctors. And I think, we just want to provide a safe place for people. And that's what we talked a lot about at the OMA, is how do you personalize that care, right? It's not just about numbers on a scale or give this medicine on a telemedicine call, where everybody gets the same medicine, same time, same place, right? So really trying to personalize, that treatment, I think, is key.
Yeah, that was a big take home for me too, is the individualized care, taking really evidence-based practice, right? So the best available evidence, which we always talk about, the practitioner experience, and then the patient values. And so I think that was a big take home for me. The meeting focused a lot on some of the different measures, and of course, I know Sylvia's talk was a really good one about beyond BMI, and
yes.
I know you and I have talked a lot about body composition, and so I was happy to see that as one of the outcome measures recommended as you personalize care, along with adjusted BMI, adjusted waist circumference, and really looking at some of the psychosocial outcomes for a happy weight.
Exactly,
like that.
Right? And I think, as I said, I think, body composition is the way of the future, especially as we get these more highly effective anti-obesity medications where, people may be inclined just not to eat, and if you're not eating enough protein and you're not eating enough nutrition, you're not going to feel like going to exercise, or not going to be strong enough, to go, do that strength training you need to do to build that lean mass and keep your resting metabolic rate up.
Yeah, there's been there's a lot of talk, a lot of side conversations that I heard, and some talk about protein intake and how taking the anti-obesity medications, not necessarily getting into the numbers of what the percent lean mass loss was, but for me it's how do we know what that is if we're not measuring it? Right?
Exactly, right? And that's why I think everybody should have a body composition scale in their office. Even primary care, people should have their body composition measured. And we have this technology, and the fact that we're not using it is really, I think, short-sighted,
Yeah, more and more people are using it, but I really think, we're kind of at that cusp of when is it going to become standard of care?
Yeah, more broadly, right? I think, we're looking forward at the OMA to really be involved this year with, as I mentioned in my presidential address, with addressing standards of care around obesity, addressing a prior authorization standardization, so to try to, provide a unified, standard prior authorization process and form, and then, really focusing on this treat or refer campaign. The idea that it's no longer appropriate to just not treat obesity, right? Or to treat obesity by recommending just eating less and exercising more, right? Which has been the standard of care for so long. We want to change that paradigm and say, it's not okay to do that anymore in 2023, right? This is a new era of you treat the obesity, or if you can't, if you feel like you can't treat it because it's too complicated, you refer to someone who can.
Right, and it's encouraging to see how many people were at that meeting, how many AVOM certified physicians are
over
out there.
800 people at that meeting, and a lot of physicians, a lot of new physicians, a lot of people, there to get their certification, get their CME credits in order to get their certification. Just really a good clinical care team, right? Lots of nurse practitioners, PAs, some dietitians.
And I got to talk to them about
people.
I talked to them about growing their interdisciplinary care team.
Yeah, that was a fabulous talk.
I think there's a lot of energy around, who on the team can be best suited to do some of the different components, and so that it's not a one-man show, and especially with these prior authorizations and some of the other components of a comprehensive program. I think that was a big take home for me too.
The focus really is on that care team. I mean, your talk was critical to that presentation or that day of learning, because really, I mean, we're talking about everybody working to the top of their licensure, and we just don't have enough enough clinicians that are prescribing to have those clinicians doing a lot of the other things, right? We need to distribute that work effort so everybody's working at the top of their ability.
Yeah, well, I think we need more practices like yours here, so I'm excited to hear
More
how it goes
know-hows.
as you open the doors next week.
Yes, we'll be excited to have you back anytime.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for coming.